Okay, so you want to remove your jet pump on your Superjet or Wave Blaster or whatever you got going. And let me help you see what that looks like. So first of all, you need to decide, are you removing your pump just to do an impeller or a reduction nozzle or anything with the back of the pump? Because if you don't need to remove the wear ring, then you might as well not, because that'll disturb the seal of your pump to the hull. And so if you're only doing an impeller or something like that, you only need to remove, I guess, 2/3 of the pump. And that'll help you maintain alignment and a seal and stuff like that. So we'll get to that. If you do want to remove the whole pump, that's fine too. It's just a couple more bolts. So for starters, you want to get your ride plate off. It's either 6 bolts or 2 bolts, depending on how old your machine is. The older Superjets, the first ones had 6 bolts. The steering is a quick disconnect that just, this collar slides back and then that pops off the ball socket. You'll have a cooling hose back here, right here. That's your main cooling line running to the engine, so disconnect that. And on this side, you'll either have, on the early ones, there'll be a different bilge setup that's bolted to your ride plate. Or on these newer ones, you'll have a rubber line here going to your reduction nozzle for siphon builds. So disconnect that. And then you will have, you can see these mounting brackets on either side of the reduction nozzle. So you'll have 2 bolts there. And if you're only pulling these 2 pieces, or 2/3 of the pump, that will get you access to change your drive shaft. This is the wearing section. You don't need to pull that for everything. There's no pump shoe in this boat. The reason we're taking this pump out is because the pump shoe failed. So normally you would have a pump shoe here, and you can see this gasket seal would be sealed to that. And there's 2 bolts, one on either side of this wear ring. If you can see up in there, yep. So the wear ring is keyed into the hull. There's dowel pins that key that into the hull, and then the 2 bolts. And this gasket seals to your pump shoe. So if all you're doing is impeller stuff or reduction nozzle stuff, what you can do is remove the 2 main bolts on the reduction nozzle, and then these 4 M6 bolts to pull the back half of the pump off. Now these do get seized up. They're threaded into these 2 tabs here, and if they get seized up and they don't want to come out, don't break them off. Just remove the whole pump, and then you can warm these up. And if you need to disassemble your pump to get to the impeller or whatever, you can warm these up, and usually you can break them free. Don't break them off. Just remove the whole pump, and you can get them free. So I've already got all 4 of my bolts out, my main bolts, because I'm pulling the whole pump, because we're going to do a pump shoe. And basically, you want to just pull down and back on the pump, because like I said, there's those dowel pins on the forward wings that will engage into the hull, and you need to get those broke free. So you can kind of pull this down. You see what just happened? The whole thing came down, and then it's all loose and it'll slide right out. I've got some rubber hoses that hold it together. I don't want to do it with one hand here. Oh, here we go. All right, so the whole guy comes out, and so now we can see the 4 main mounting locations, and then these pins that engage up into the hull. Now you may have shims on top of your pump. In fact, you should have typically a shim. Somebody may have lost them and you don't have any anymore, or your boat just never needed them. So make sure you keep track of your shims and where they go. That affects your alignment of your shaft up into the mid shaft. And if you don't have any shims, and you don't have a lot of history with the boat, it's possible somebody lost them and your alignment's off. And you're going to want to inspect your splines here for wear. It's in a perfect world, you would realign your pump to the hull every time you take it out, and that requires pulling the engine. Now, most people aren't going to do that. The best practice is to put it back in the way it came out. And so if it's been in there since the factory or whatever, and you have some shims in place, then it's obvious that somebody aligned it at some point. And if you're confident that the alignment was good, just replace the shims as they were. If you're not confident that the alignment is good, or if you have a bunch of wear on your splines here, abnormal looking wear. See, this is an old boat, and there's basically little to no wear on the splines. And I have history with this boat. I know that it never had shims. For whatever reason, it didn't need them, and its alignment is good. In fact, I've checked it previously when I had the engine out. So anyway, that's how to take it out. And then putting it back in is just the same. It's a good idea maybe just to put a thin bit of silicone on the seal, and you would insert the assembly back in, and then make sure these pins get engaged into the hull. Put your bolts back in, hook everything up, and away you go. If you left this wear ring bolted to the hull, even better. You can just slide your impeller bearing housing and your reduction nozzle in together as a unit, and then put the 4 M6 bolts back in, and away you go. You don't have to disturb the seal. Any questions, leave them in the comments, and hopefully I can help you out. It's pretty obvious what's going on once you get in there, but if you're stressing about it and you haven't done it before, then maybe I can help you out. Have a good one, guys.